Sorry about that. All right, one more time. Give it up for Team E. All right, Team E got 8 minutes. Lead us into the second half.
Hello, everybody. My name is Iain, representing Team E. Peter, Jen, Sherry, thank you all for being here. We're presenting Nightcap, the self-heating tea for deeper sleep, a special sleep aid. I want to ask you to meet me in this case, you just did. I'm going to ask you to meet Ramon, because Ramon, he can't sleep. He's a business traveler, and he's deeply, deeply jet lagged. Ramon is twisting and turning back and forth in bed, and he's too tired to even boil his favorite cup of tea. Now, Ramon, of course, isn't alone. There's plenty of folks like him who are health-conscious business travelers on the go. They're exhausted. We're not just talking about Goldman Sachs business. These are also folks who aren't making quite as much money. These folks need the opposite of a Red Bull. Because half of all business professionals say when they travel, their poor sleep rate goes up from about 1 in 3 to 1 in 2 reporting poor sleep. The sleep aid market is huge, and it's been growing since COVID. The insomnia levels are rising rapidly, so much it's hard to estimate. But if you just capture about 1 to 2% of the sleep aid market by itself, as you see, you're looking between $1 and $2 billion here. But we talked to 100 British business professionals about their sleep.
You're golden boys.
And we found 3 things about them. They all drink tea at home. They don't get enough sleep when they're traveling. And only a few of them want to take pills as supplements. When we consider all those options, they take alcohol, they drink, but that's terrible for sleep health. It sedates you, but then it messes up your REM cycle. CBD, some folks care about that and they take that, but there's long-term studies on the cumulative effects on your memory. And the third factor they cared about most was their focus as they kept doing business. The normal tea they'll have at home all the time, but when they're traveling, it can be too bothersome for them to boil it as they're exhausted. And they don't like the pills. The numbers that we looked at here, I myself take a lot of sleep pills. Here, 91% of adults don't take the pills for sleep. That roughly matches the statistics that we saw as we spoke to folks on the field. But what is the second most popular beverage in the world after water?
Tea.
How about that? We saw the exact same thing. The tea time is right, but it's tough to get the TX sleep TAM in this case because of underreporting of those sleep issues. So we have the more modest valuation of the SOM here. Introducing Nightcap. It's the better alternative to the unhealthy sleep aid, and it's more effective and effortless for sleep than the traditional teas that you take before bed. We actually got a website and made this mock-up for you on that site. 2 simple steps. Twist to heat, then drift to sleep. Classic flavors, clinically tested, all natural, which is what almost everyone we spoke to wanted. All natural ingredients for deeper sleep. This technology already exists. It's been around for over 20 years. But it's used for soups and for coffees on the go, not at night. We can win on the 3 E's, a helpful framework for the effectiveness of the sleep ingredients, the ease of heating with a twist, and our engineering for safety. What's that first E? An all-natural blend of clinically tested ingredients that we intend to put together in a proprietary way to help deal with caffeine during the day and give you deeper sleep. Why isn't Twinings or other big tea brands already doing it? Because as you alluded to in questioning before, they're worried about the ESG component, not of this product, but instead of the traditional papers that they're putting out. So they're just not focused on this. Their eye's not on this ball. The second E, the E's. It's easy, consistent heating, 62 degrees Celsius. And it's 3 minutes to boil. So as you're doing the rest of your nightly routine, it's ready for you. Now, I don't know how the tech works. I need like some kind of rocket scientist to break it down for you. Do we have a rocket scientist?
Yeah, actually, I'm a rocket scientist, and I can break this down for you. So there's essentially two components. We have our first part. Actually, I need next slide, sir. That's all good. It's my schematic. So there's two parts. First, this is the container where you have the tea. We designed it for safety because it has an insulated lip, so you don't burn your mouth when you're drinking that delicious tea. And it also is double walled, so actually your hands are protected. The heating technology, like it was alluded to, it already exists. It's actually quite simple. Quicklime and water. And what happens is when you twist, you actually break the membrane, quicklime and the water mix together, boom, voila. You get nightcap.
The right sleepy team for the right sleepy tea. Alex, with a newborn, how many hours of sleep?
I don't sleep.
Sikha, Amazon Distributions and Operations, how much sleep?
5 hours of sleep.
Desi's outside brewing up something special right now. Trevor, consulting as well, how many?
5 hours of sleep.
Andres, finance?
5 to 6 hours, usually dinners and drinks.
I put the Iain in insomnia. And Ramon.
4 hours always jet lagged.
Ramon, how does the economics work?
So we have fixed a sales price of £299. That's more or less $388 US, and that matches the price of Red Bull. And as you can see here, it gives us a very healthy margin.
TAC and LTV?
Yeah, so using those assumptions, we use Ramon's hotel connections as well as Desi's background in beverage. And we took in a hotel such as the Royal Garden and estimated about 32 pounds of customer acquisition costs, and then took a conservative assumptions on the lifetime value and estimated about 138 pounds or 4 times.
We're gonna work through regulators. Desi has specific experience with a specific technology, but in coffee. And we've got some cool channel plans to reach travelers during their routines as well. We spoke to Hux Hotels for boutique so that we can introduce travelers there. And they said, yeah, we'll taste it and see. The exact same thing at the hotel we're staying at. They said, we're open to it. We try things out like this all the time. We'll taste it and see. But the big thing is the viral quotient in this case. Viral quotient here says the number of people, if ever we spoke to, who knew about the technology was 0. That means there's a chance for this to go viral and go big. With a half year more, we make the blend more proprietary, more clinical testing, and try to patent to improve this heating with our rocket scientist. But we have the domain name, and it's time for you to try the tea. So twist to heat and go.
All right, Team E. David's going to start the timer again. Panelists are being served their midday meal. All right, Sherry, Jen, Pete, over to you guys. Oh my God, we get something.
I'll go. All right, listen. You know, you really nailed the message and how you deliver it. Like, great start, right? And I love this. I kind of, I like the give it, take it back, give it, take it back, give it, take it back, right? Really felt like this was punchy, orchestrated, practiced, yeah, well done. Like the rocket scientist sitting at the side. I mean, nice, nice touch. And human, right? Just don't forget taking the piss out of Goldman Sachs. I mean, it works every time. Come on, right? It's good. So, and you get people laughing, and you don't underestimate, right? Then you make your pitch. You got them in a nice frame of mind, right? They've had that. I love the 3 E's, right? There were just a lot of kind of clever hooks, right, or places to stop that I always think of, the storyteller over here, but like, could I walk out of here and 2 hours from now, tell someone in 60 seconds about what you told me, right, or any of the groups told me, right? And do you make that easy to do? Well, yeah, remember the 3 E's, yeah? Or just those little things like that stick. So I thought, just I don't have any questions. I mean, you know, I'll try the tea.
Love feedback.
Other than that, you know, well done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very well put together presentation, not to repeat what Peter said. I just have a question around habits. So you're introducing a product to market for something that people don't already have a habit instilled to do. They don't wanna take a pill, they don't wanna boil the kettle. So you're not just marketing a Diet Coke to someone on a road trip. Like you need to change people's habits. How are you thinking through this?
Good question.
Yeah, I think, excellent question in terms of that, and this is where we really wanna start actually in a place where your habit changes, which is a hotel. And so actually when we were doing the CAC calculation, the first partnership and even marketing tool that we will do, we're hoping to do a 16-week pilot, is with a hotel chain. A hotel chain where we can put our product, actually, we would actually give it to them as a sample and put it by your bedside table. And from there, so that we can get that trial to say, hey, look at this new habit that you can actually gain in a place that is not that your usual everyday in terms of it. Because that's where we were showcasing and when speaking with consumers of, you know, when they travel, your day-to-day and what you do at home is completely different. Now, so this is a part of home that you can introduce across the board, and we're actually very, very intentional about that of like, we think it needs to be a little bit more experiential for that retail. To be able to showcase, hey, we can bring that habit to you.
So, okay, I mean, again, great presentation, like the fonts were right, the highlights of the text in the right places were spot on. I won't add to that, but that was really very, like, world class. I guess the question
And we
is,
didn't even teach the font module, so.
but it makes a difference, right? It makes an impact, and, you know, like Peter said, we can remember this and talk about this. I think that genuinely, this is an interesting product that might really, like, I'm happy to connect you. I know you already have like beverage folk in there, in beverage, but I think this would be really interesting. I wonder whether, the only thing I would ask, like to try to be challenging is, how successful are those other heat by shaping products? And, you know, what are the challenges that you think you're gonna face? I think you're already kind of answering it with where you're putting it. As in, okay, this is different, this is a hotel, just twist it and try it, is a really good entry point. But what were you thinking there?
Yeah, absolutely. I can speak to it because actually, so the coffee brand I'm now with actually did this 10 years ago in regards to it, and the technology was not there. It was a little bit ahead of their times, and the way that they actually went into was through airplanes, which is where it's like shaky. So it actually was like spilling on consumers in regards to that. So there's two items. One is the advancement on the technology itself that we believe that we're seeing in other countries, specifically actually in Spain, that they have a bit of an advancement on it because they couldn't figure out the temperature as well. And then second is I think the location. You know, we're going back to it, starting with aviation, which I understand because you're on the go, but then with the turbulence, it did not honestly end up working for them. So those are two items that we're definitely hoping to explore in the future.
Yeah, so the technology, it didn't heat up the drinks to the levels that they needed to, like in coffee, and so customers were not happy with that. And then now, with the double wall, that comes actually, this type of packaging exists in like noodles, so they sell it for, if you wanna take a meal to office, you just pull a strip and it heats it up right to full boiling in under 3 minutes. So that's what, we're just taking that existing packaging, and we found suppliers in China that do this in this form factor already. So that's what we mean, it's just, we're just taking what they're using in like the noodle space, bringing it to tea, and then just making it super quick to drift to sleep.
I love that. It's like, it's blue ocean, right? You're taking something from here, something from there, and applying it to a place of opportunity. So that's really cool to know that.
Yeah, the tea market and the sleep aid market, just massive.
There's also tea for you to try, so I will bring it in and we'll leave it there if you want some.
Wow. Thank you.
Just Cool.